Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 21st Annual Stanford Asian American Awards ceremony. My name is Ashley Nguyen, and my co-MC tonight is Arushi Patil. We are both Frosh interns at the Asian American Activity Center, and we are excited to be your host for tonight's awards ceremony.
The Advisory Board of the Asian American Activity Center created this award ceremony to bring the campus community together and celebrate the accomplishments of amazing and talented individuals. The recipients represent the exceptional activists, educators, researchers, and leaders affiliated with Stanford. They were selected by the Advisory Board for their significant contributions to Stanford and the Asian American community. Thank you for joining us tonight and acknowledging the achievements and contributions of our recipients.
To start us off, we would like to invite Cindy Ng, Associate Dean and Director of the Asian American Activity Center, to give us a warm welcome.
Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. We wish we could be with you in person, but we are excited for this opportunity to be together in a virtual community. Shelter in place has been difficult, but there's so much to be grateful for, not the least of which is this amazing community of faculty, staff, students, and alumni. I want to start first by thanking our essential workers on the front lines of this pandemic, our healthcare workers, restaurant workers, janitorial workers, food production workers, and so many more who are risking their lives so that we have what we need to survive. We know that the majority of these workers are people of color who don't have the luxury of sheltering in place, and for them, we are deeply grateful. Our Asian American community has seen a sharp increase in racist harassment and violence. This is nothing new, but has been compounded by COVID xenophobia. Now, more than ever, we need to stay united with each other and with other communities of color to face these challenges. The importance of solidarity and community has never been more critical. During these unprecedented times, we need hope and we need leadership. Our award recipients give us that hope and embody the type of leadership that we need at this time. Thank you all for coming together as a community to honor the achievements of our award recipients. Thank you to Gerald and Latna for the leadership they provided for this event, and to our Frosh interns Arushi, Ashley, Niet, Jihan, Ben, and Chun for all their hard work in putting this virtual event together. Enjoy.
Thank you, Cindy. Without further ado, we would like to begin the awards portion of our program with the Faculty Award. This year, our faculty recipient is Dr. Ann Singh, Professor of Medicine at Stanford University and a co-leader of the Population Sciences program at Stanford Cancer Institute. Here to present Dr. Ann Singh with the Faculty Award is Dr. Chifu Jeffrey Yang, Cardiothoracic Surgery Fellow at Stanford Medical.
Professor Ann Singh is a professor of medicine at Stanford and a renowned molecular cancer epidemiologist. She brings an extraordinary background of leadership, research expertise, and impact in public health, and has way too many achievements for me to speak about in 1 minute, so I'll only briefly touch on a few. To improve the lives of Asian Americans in the Bay Area, Dr. Singh has launched multiple projects, including the Chinese American Cancer Prevention Seminar Series and innovative education and research programs in liver cancer at the Stanford Cancer Institute. She serves as the principal investigator of the Stanford Well for Life study, which is a global longitudinal study focusing on Asian countries and Asian Americans of over 28,000 people, looking at people's well-being. And during the COVID epidemic, she's also focused on studying people's well-being during shelter-in-place policies. The common theme among all of her projects is a generosity of spirit and a passion for helping people and helping communities. Dr. Singh is a prolific researcher. She's written over 300 articles and has an H-index of over 80. And she has mentored over 70 graduate students, postdoctoral fellows, and scholars, and is a profoundly beloved mentor and a truly inspirational role model. I hope many more folks in the Stanford Asian American community have the opportunity to meet her in the years to come.
Dear friends and colleagues at the Asian American Activity Center, I'm An-Sing, Professor of Medicine at the Stanford Prevention Research Center. Thank you so much for the Faculty Award from AAAC. I'm honored to accept this award as it will give me the opportunity to reach out to more colleagues and students at Stanford and beyond to collaborate and work together so we can help improve the health of Asian Americans and make a lasting impact. I'm a cancer epidemiologist, so from the perspective of cancer disparity, Asian Americans suffer more from cancers of the stomach and liver. And non-smoking Asian women often develop adenocarcinoma of the lung. There are effective prevention strategies for cancer of the liver and lung. So it is important that we are proactive about prevention to ensure that these strategies are implemented in Asian American community to minimize the burden of these fatal cancers. Several other chronic conditions such as obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and non-alcoholic liver diseases are also very common in Asian Americans. These are rather complex conditions, so we need to work together to identify risk factors and barriers to prevention specific to Asian Americans to help develop effective strategies for screening, prevention, and treatment. Thank you again for this great honor. I hope you will stay healthy during this challenging time. I'm an optimistic person, and I believe we will prevail. I hope to see you and meet with you in person when we are back on campus. Take care, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Singh, for your efforts to improve the health of Asian Americans. The next recipient of our Faculty Award is Dr. William Gao, lecturer in Asian American Studies. Here to present Dr. William Gao with the Faculty Award is Dr. Jean Tsai, Professor of Psychology, Director, Stanford Culture and Emotion Laboratory, Yumi and Yasunori Kaneko Family University Fellow in Undergraduate Education, and Chair of Asian American Studies.
Good evening. My name is Jeannie Tsai. I'm Director of Asian American Studies, and it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce one of this year's Faculty Award recipients, Will Gao. In only 1.5 years of being here, Will has made such a tremendous impact on the Asian American community here at Stanford. This year he taught 3 courses in Asian American Studies, providing core knowledge in Asian American Studies to so many of our students. One of these courses was the Intro to Asian American Studies course that he taught in the fall and that hasn't been offered in 10 years. And in offering it in just 1 quarter, he managed to have such a successful quarter that inspired so many students to take additional courses in Asian American Studies and to even declare Asian American Studies as their majors and their minors. As many of the students wrote in their nomination letters, Will has really changed how they think about being Asian American. In addition to being an amazing teacher, Will is also a dedicated mentor and advisor. As one of the students wrote, Will Gao is such a phenomenal, humble, brilliant, and caring professor, the best professor that I've had at Stanford and in my life. Please join me in congratulating Will Gao, recipient of this year's Faculty Award. Yay!
I'd like to thank the Asian American Activity Center Advisory Committee for this Faculty Award, and I'd like to acknowledge all the students who submitted my name for nomination. Knowing that this award is the reflection of student support makes it all the more meaningful to me. In my 2 years here at Stanford, I've had the opportunity to work with some incredible students, faculty, and staff. I'd like to thank each and every one of you who've supported me during my time at this university. In the short time allocated to me today, I'd like to tell you a little bit about what Asian American Studies has meant to me. I grew up in San Francisco's Sunset District and attended the city's public schools. As a young person, many of my neighbors and most of my classmates were Asian American. Despite this, I never felt like I belonged. My mom is white and my dad is Chinese American. As a mixed-race Asian American growing up in San Francisco, I spent much of my youth thinking about issues of race and identity. Certainly not a day went by in high school that I didn't think about how I fit into the world around me. And yet, as a young person, I did not have the language or the theory to understand my own life experiences. Asian American Studies helped change this for me. The field gave me the academic context to understand my own place in the world. Asian American Studies taught me the language to name what I was experiencing in my life, and the history and theory to connect my own life history to those of others. At UCLA and UC Berkeley, I was honored to work with community-engaged scholars who taught me that Asian American Studies isn't just about understanding the self, but also about leveraging that self-understanding to make the world a more equitable place for everyone. The field of Asian American Studies forced me to think about how I might use my knowledge and skills to serve various communities of which I'm a part. Because of the positive change Asian American Studies made in my own life, I look forward to the time when I could teach Asian American Studies to others. Earlier this year, Stanford provided me with the opportunity to finally teach Introduction to Asian American Studies. To have taught this course at this university with so many dynamic and self-reflexive students really was a life-changing experience for me, and it's one that I'll never forget. While I'm thankful to Stanford for having allowed me to teach this course, I'm saddened by the benign neglect with which the university treats its Asian American Studies program. Without departmental status, the program is unable to hire its own tenure-track faculty. Nor does the program have even one full-time lecturer aligned to support its majors and minors. Without proper funding, the program cannot support postdocs or fellows. Without an adequate number of instructors, the program cannot consistently offer the courses that it needs to maintain a robust major. As a result, students majoring and minoring in Asian American Studies often struggle to find classes, and students throughout the university miss out on a crucial academic space where they could learn to see how their own life histories connect with those of other peoples. With adequate funding, Asian American Studies at Stanford could teach more courses that connect students to meaningful work in communities around the Bay Area and the globe. Asian American Studies at Stanford could help direct students towards public school teaching and social work, towards nonprofit management and advocacy, towards public interest law and politics. For those who chose other lines of work, a well-funded Asian American Studies program could allow students a space to think through how they might balance their own careers with service to others. It is precisely in moments of crisis such as today that feels like Asian American Studies are most needed. I humbly accept this Asian American Studies Faculty Award. For as long as I have the pleasure of working at this university, I look forward to helping make Stanford a more inclusive institution for all its members. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gao, for your continued mentorships of students and your contributions to building the Asian American Studies program. Our next awards of the night are the Staff Awards. These awards honor members of the Stanford community who are crucial to the daily life on campus in all that they do. Our first Staff Award recipient is Mona Tekchundani, Director of Strategic Engagement, Engagement and Outreach in the Office of Development, and an Asian Staff Forum board member. Here to present Mona with the Staff Award is Aimee Diego DeBose, the Associate Director of Community for the Knight Hennessy Scholars Program.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aimee Diego DeBose, and I would just like to begin by thanking Cindy and Gerald and the entire team at ACUBC for continuing on with this wonderful tradition of the Asian American Awards ceremony. It is one of the highlights of my year, and even though we're apart, I know we are together. Tonight, I have the honor of introducing the Asian Staff Forum Outstanding Staff Award. Let me begin by saying that we all come to Stanford for different reasons. The job, for the benefits, for being in a magical place like we are on the farm. But I've learned that we stay for the people that we meet and the people that make our experience that much better by knowing them. It is my honor to introduce tonight's Outstanding Staff Awardee on behalf of the Asian Staff Forum. This award goes to Mona Lisa Tekchundani. Congratulations, Mona. You are an individual that changes people's lives, whether it be through your tireless efforts as an ASF board member overseeing programs and creating unique environments for which we get together and learn about each other through the programming that you do, or if it's through the volunteering that you provide for our students as their pre-major advisor / newcomer guide. The work that you do with our students and provide them with the unique insight as a class of 96 alumna, I think is very much appreciated by all of them. And in your work in the Office of Development, you help our esteemed alums and advisors to chart the future of Stanford. And for all of these things, we are grateful to you. Mona has single-handedly changed my Stanford experience when I first met her through friends who said, you definitely have to meet Mona. And I am so thankful for that wonderful advice that I received. Mona, I want to wish you the best and the well-deserved award of Outstanding Staff at Stanford University. Congratulations, my friend. I love you. And here's some flowers, even though I can't be there to give you a big hug. Congratulations, Mona.
I am very grateful for the honor of being recognized as a staff recipient of the Stanford Asian American Award. Having grown up in a small town in Michigan in an immigrant household, I was always reminded of my ethnic heritage as a minority. I grew up with a dual identity and practiced what today is described as code switching without even knowing what that term meant at the time. I was fortunate, however, to be a part of a loving family imbued with a core set of values that I now see transcend the confines of my home. As the first member of my family to go out of state for college, distance made Stanford my home away from home. Having served for more than a decade as a consultant, I returned to the farm with the intent of giving back to this community and to the mission of education and research. I've come to realize the value of Asian togetherness, East Asians and South Asians. Our communities have come under attack in recent times, and our solidarity and kinship is key to our ongoing endurance. I look forward to collaborating with you all in this endeavor. Thank you again for this honor. I will work to pay it forward.
Congratulations, Mona. Thank you for supporting staff, students, and alumni on campus. The next staff award recognizes Mary Beth Lefebvre, Service Design Project Manager in the Improvement, Analytics, and Innovative Service. Introducing Mary Beth is Curie Sevilla, Business Development Strategist of Residential and Dining Enterprises and Filipino American Community at Stanford Representative.
Hi, I'm Curie Sevilla, and I'm a co-leader at the Phil-Am community at Stanford. It is my honor and privilege to introduce this year's Stanford Asian American Staff Awardee, Mary Beth Sebedo Lefebvre. Mary Beth is a project manager at the Office of the Chief Risk Officer located in Redwood City. But in the Phil-Am community at Stanford, she is our project manager, and she is the glue that keeps us all together. Her project management skills are exceptional, and she keeps our leadership team engaged, motivated, and inspired. Mary Beth is the epitome of a collaborative leader, and the Phil-Am community and Asian community at Stanford are so fortunate to have her among us. Her selflessness and commitment to our community is exceptional, and I am very proud to be her co-leader at Phil-Am community at Stanford. Congratulations, Mary Beth, and thank you for what you do.
Mabuhay. That is a traditional greeting we offer in the Philippines. The word is derived from buhay, or life, and we say it now to say welcome, hooray, or long live. My name is Mary Beth Lefebvre, and first, I'd like to thank you for this honor. I am grateful to the colleagues who nominated me and enriched my life and work experience as a Filipino American and Asian American here at Stanford. It is a beautiful spring day in 2020 as I speak, and the sunshine and blossoms outside remind me of the time when I first arrived in California more than 30 years ago as an immigrant. As a teenager, that change was very challenging. It took many months before I adjusted to my life in America. But I did manage to notice that spring was kind of nice. The spring beauty outside now reminds me, and I hope all of us, that the natural world continues its cycles in the midst of our pandemic. I am also reminded of our natural resilience. A layoff brought me to Stanford. I thought that my career had ended prematurely, but a friend of a friend recommended me to a hiring manager, and here I am. That reminded me how important it is to maintain our networks and to stay connected. Thank you to the Asian American Activity Center for keeping us connected. Last year, I had the privilege of a rotational assignment in the Centers for Equity and Community Leadership. I saw up close how the staff and student leaders of the Asian American community work so hard. Keep up the good work and for motivating us to be the best that we can be. Many thanks, maraming salamat, and mabuhay. Stay well and long live our community here at Stanford. Mabuhay.
Congratulations, Mary Beth. Your commitment to the Stanford Filipinx community is greatly valued. Our next award honors an alum who serves the Stanford Asian American community on and off campus. This year's alumni recognizes Kevin Su, class of 08 and 11, Senior Assistant Director of the Center for Livable Cities, and lecturer in Urban Studies and International Policy Studies at Stanford University. Introducing Kevin Su is Selena Kwan, class of 92, President of the Stanford Asian Pacific American Alumni Club.
Hi, I'm Selena Kwan, and I'm here today to introduce you to Kevin Su, our Alumni Award recipient. Kevin graduated in 2009 with degrees in Earth Systems and International Relations, and followed that in 2011 with a master's in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Now, to call Kevin a star would be a total understatement. In fact, his future is so bright, I had to wear shades. Kevin has been a tireless and dedicated advocate and leader of the API community for several decades, as a student, as an alum, and currently as an international citizen based in Singapore. Most notably, while serving as our 2019 SAPAC Board President, Kevin led efforts to create the critical infrastructure that enabled our all-volunteer, worldwide, multiple time zone organization to have successful institutional continuity. We rely on the same suite of tools today. Kevin has been the point person for issues such as faculty and staff diversity, Asian American studies, and voter registration. He has a deep Rolodex and generously shares when there is a need to gauge community sentiment. He is consistently a great communicator, friendly, responsive, a consensus builder, and expert problem solver. Fellow leaders don't hesitate to reach out to him as a starting point to understand the API perspective. Professionally, Kevin has an expertise in sustainability and is currently at the Center for Livable Cities. One of the things that Dan Kohiro, a fellow board member, and I most admire about Kevin is his enthusiasm for political and racial issues. He addresses political and racial issues and holds those in institutional leadership positions accountable. This has served our community tremendously. We are so lucky, grateful, and honored to be having Kevin as part of our family. Thank you.
Hi there, this is Kevin Su, and I'm sending you this message from Singapore. I'm very impressed by the AQC team, who have managed to coordinate all of us from different cities and continents and bring us together. Let me wish you a happy Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. Thank you to Cindy, Gerald, Latana, Ben and Niet, and team. I'm really touched and honored by this award because I deeply respect the work of the AQC and what it means to the Asian American community. Thank you to my family, Mom, Dad, Mark, Uncle Jason, Grandma, who are in California and in Taiwan. Shout out to Stanford folks, especially my Earth Systems and AE pals, and the SAPAC board. Two people I wish could be here today are Professors Carl Knapp and Stephen Schneider, who were my mentors and environmental heroes. They've passed on, but their influence still echoes in many of us. We're in challenging times right now under this pandemic, and with so many countries hitting a giant pause button, it's also an opportune time to reflect and think about the society we live in. A lot of folks are coming around to the idea that it's not about bouncing back to normal after the crisis. We simply can't go back to the way things were before because that status quo was the problem. Humans and the planet are out of balance. We're pumping carbon emissions into our atmosphere, filling our oceans with islands of plastic. We're destroying the natural and cultural heritage we should be celebrating and preserving. Now, as Stanford graduates, we're very lucky because we have more than the usual amount of options in our lives. One choice I've made reflects my conviction that we can learn from and collaborate with the Asia Pacific. That's why I've spent so much of my professional life there. We can observe diverse ways of thinking and living, and as Asian Americans, we get to understand our roots and be proud of the countries our parents came from. I'm Taiwanese American, and Taiwan has gotten a lot of positive press recently because of how it handled the coronavirus pandemic. But it also deserves just as much praise for being a liberal democracy that re-elected a woman president and is showing Asia and the world what public participation, human rights, LGBT equality, and good governance mean. I'm originally from the Bay Area, and it's been hard to be away from home. But at the same time, whenever I return to California, it's also really hard to be back. There are days when it feels like the culture has totally changed. I have mixed feelings about the tech boom. In Silicon Valley is often portrayed as an unalloyed good, and yes, it has led to a lot of growth and amazing opportunities, but it has also generated pain and dislocation for people who cannot be part of that wave, and sometimes even for people who are in it. Whatever path you choose, please think about the impact that your company or your product will have on the world. Is it aiding human freedom or stifling it? Is it supporting communities or gentrifying them out of existence? Give a thought to social equity and the stories we don't hear about. Workers in the gig economy, migrants, indigenous communities. We have that responsibility as members of society, but even more so as Stanford graduates. There's an extra sense of calling because Stanford was founded on ideals. That's a big part of why we chose to come here and why we stayed. When I talk to my fellow alumni, we recognize that this university is a place that people around the world believe in and look up to. When alumni and students speak out, and when we push the administration to be better, it's not just because we're troublemakers, it's because we feel, yes, deep frustration, but also immense love for this university. I'm grateful that so many generations before us at Stanford struggled to make sure that this institution stayed in touch with its ethical core. Whether it was the Vietnam War, apartheid, workers' rights, sexual assault, fossil fuel divestment, or making sure we have diverse voices on our faculty, you can count on Stanford students and alumni to speak up. So I hope you won't stop advocating for this place to live up to its founding ideals. Any of the causes or movements we choose to work on today, sustainability, democracy, these won't be easy. It can be tiring, infuriating, dispiriting, but don't give up, because you'll meet friends along the way. Other people who believe the way you do, and you'll pick each other up and keep going. And as it turns out, it just so happens that a lot of the folks that you do meet and who become your allies also bleed cardinal red. It's pretty funny, but true. They turn out often to be our Stanford sisters and brothers. I hope you all stay safe. Please take care of your mental and emotional health, as well as your physical well-being. And after this long moment of pandemic passes, remember, we can't go back to the way things were before, which means, moving forward, we've been given the awesome responsibility and also a creative opportunity to reimagine the world we want to live in.
Thank you, Kevin, for your commitment to serving the Stanford and Asian American community. Let's have another round of applause for our faculty, staff, and alumni recipients. Ashley and I hold great admiration for the faculty, staff, and alumni in our community. We also hold a great admiration for our fellow students, who are equally outstanding. Some of our peers have made incredible contributions in their short time here at Stanford, and the next portion of tonight's program seeks to recognize these student leaders in our Asian American community.
This next award is co-sponsored by the Vice Provost for Graduate Education, VPGE. The VPGE Research and Teaching Award goes to David Song. As a doctoral student in the Graduate School of Education and a graduate student fellow in the Center for Comparative Studies in Race and Ethnicity, David studies assimilation and racialization of immigrant Asian American youth in the public schools. More specifically, David published an ethnographic study of Chinese language schools in the Bay Area. David's dissertation is based on this previous work and discusses the attitudes of teachers and students towards language acquisition in schools with contrasting socioeconomic profiles. David's critical academic approach to his research also displays a deep respect and sensitivity to the lives and context of the people he studied. As a result, he received the Lucy Chang Prize and was published in the AmerAsia Journal. David is a diligent researcher, a welcoming teacher, and a passionate community member who grounds his work in education. For David's exemplary research, we are proud to award him the Graduate VPGE Research and Teaching Award.
Hi, my name is David Song. I'm very grateful to be receiving this Research and Teaching Award. It's wonderful to be recognized, and I would like to mention as well that a great deal of my work at Stanford, both with the Humanities Center and the Graduate School of Education, has been done in partnership with other students across multiple departments. Dr. Tamara Jilks, Abia Ahmed, Vivian Yan, Kojila Ozawa, Vanessa Velez, Dr. Alana Horowitz, and Calvin Cheung-Miaw are just a few of the colleagues with whom I've collaborated, and I would like to make sure that they also receive recognition for this award and for their efforts in building a scholarly community at Stanford. Thank you.
Thank you, David, for your community-based research. Next, we are proud to introduce the recipient of the Graduate Leadership Award. This year's Graduate Leadership Award goes to Calvin Cheung-Miaw. Calvin founded the Stanford Solidarity Network, or SSN, which has created an activist community among grad students, where he notably helped the SSN strategy for a campaign against Trump's tax reform bill. The creation of SSN provided a space for graduate students to be engaged in political activism on campus. For many of the members of SSN, Calvin has become a mentor to look up to and learn from over the years. Calvin uses his deep and broad knowledge of theory to help his peers grow academically through a group he hosts to provide feedback on the members' work. Calvin's role as a founding member of the Critical Orientations to Race and Ethnicity, or CORE workshop at the Humanities Center, has created a much-needed space for discussions on critical race theory. CORE has brought incredible scholars to campus, like Princeton professor Beth Lou Williams. Calvin uses these platforms as a leader to help organize Asian American activism and provoke understanding of different communities in relationship to each other. For his leadership, commitment to solidarity, and initiative, we are proud to present Calvin with the Graduate Leadership Award.
I'm extremely honored to receive the Graduate Student Leadership Award. The AQC has been an important part of my life for decades since I was an undergraduate at Stanford. Thank you, Cindy, for everything that you've done. I also want to thank my mentors in academia, Gordon, David, and Estelle, as well as all of the graduate students that I've organized alongside for the past 6 years. I want to start by acknowledging the students that are carrying on the legacy of activism that I was a part of when I was an undergraduate. The Who's Teaching Us campaign, which is trying to strengthen ethnic studies at Stanford, and the Stanford Students for Workers' Rights, who are fighting to make sure that Stanford treats its workforce with dignity during the COVID-19 crisis. You can learn more about them on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Now, the people I really need to thank are the ones that taught me about leadership in the first place, the leaders of the Hotel Workers Union. People like Celestina, a Filipino immigrant who was an accountant in the Philippines and who became a restaurant cashier when she immigrated to the United States. She was fired from her job because she was organizing her coworkers to stand up and fight for their rights. Yes, eventually she got her job back because she had a union. People like Celestina taught me the secret of the union movement. How is it that housekeepers, line cooks, bartenders, cashiers, dishwashers can take on a multi-billion-dollar corporation controlled by some of the world's richest people and win living wages, affordable healthcare, and a voice at work? It's because we believe that everyone can be a leader, no matter where you come from, no matter what your education level is, no matter who you love. We all can contribute something, and when we take risks to fight for what we believe in and act together, we win. So when I get depressed today thinking about the state of the world, the rise in anti-Asian violence, the brutality against undocumented immigrants or the Black community, I think about that lesson. Now, let's get to work.
Thank you, Calvin, for your outstanding leadership and community building. The final portion of our ceremony tonight will honor 8 remarkable undergraduate students in our community. These individuals go above and beyond and never fail to inspire us with their dedication and commitment. Our first undergraduate award tonight is the Undergraduate Research Award. This year's winner is Hwanvi Van. Hwanvi's thesis focuses on transgender Asian Americans, a highly underrepresented population in research. Their work strives to bring light to the intersection of transgender and Asian American identities. Their thesis looks at the ways non-binary Asian Americans conceptualize identity, as well as the role of the communities in identity formation. Before they started their research, Hwanvi did important work in the community through API Equality Northern California, APINC, to increase the visibility of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer Asian Pacific Islander community. Hwanvi's work is shaped by their own experiences as a queer and trans Asian American and inspired by their queer and trans Asian Pacific Islander families in the Bay Area, especially APINC. Conducting this research without tenured faculty in your field, especially on a topic with very little pre-existing literature, is a great challenge. Hwanvi's dedication has made important contributions to the transgender Asian Pacific Islander community. Hwanvi's nominators describe their contributions as building, unquote, scholars in the field of Asian American studies who have been motivated by their own lived experiences to produce relevant, cutting-edge scholarship which serves the needs of actual people in their communities, end quote. For their important contributions to the transgender Asian Pacific Islander community, we are proud to present Hwanvi with the Undergraduate Research Award.
I want to start off with a quote from Yuri Kochiyama that not only describes my senior honors thesis project, but also is just one of my guiding life principles. Life is not what you alone make it. Life is the input of everyone who touched your life and every experience that entered it. We are all part of one another. This project is the collective work of so many people, and I have so many people to thank for helping me. Thank you to Professor Brody, Mike, Amy, and Max for reading my drafts, keeping me on top of deadlines, and for providing guidance when I was most desperate. Thank you to Cindy, Gerald, Latna, and the AQC for 4 years of mentorship, and for introducing me to a community that would become my family at Stanford. To Edith and Okada, thank you for being my home for the last 4 years. Thank you to my parents and Huivon for teaching me at a young age that we have resilience in our blood. To Edwin, Amulia, Hanya, Josh, Sherwin, Rai, Cam, T, Kai, and anyone else who has listened to me talk about my thesis. You are my friends, my comrades, and my family. I love you all so much, and I'll never find the right words, so I'll just say thank you. You inspire me every single day to be a more compassionate and braver person. Finally, I would like to express the deepest gratitude for Sammy, Yuen, Jasmine, and all of A-Pink. I always joke that I'm an A-Pink stan first and a human second, and it's because A-Pink has radically changed my life. Thank you for teaching me abundance, interdependence, and accountability, for showing me the importance of documenting the stories of queer and trans Asian Americans, and for being my movement family. You make me believe that we can achieve liberation in our lifetime as long as we hold each other with tenderness and strength. As I've worked on my research for the last year and a half, I've seen the ways that academia does not care about us. They don't care about the voices of non-binary Asian Americans, and while we don't need publications to validate our existence, our experiences deserve to be documented. We deserve to take up space to demand recognition for the dignity and significance of our experiences. And we also need to remember that we will not find liberation through academia. We must build strong relationships with each other and practice accountability through community care. We must hold each other with radical love and empathy. We must put in the work to build a base, organize, mobilize, and fight for a world that we deserve to live in. And I, for one, can't wait to continue building a better world together.
Thank you, Hwanvi, for your commitment to the QT API community. Our next undergraduate award is the Public Service Award. This year's recipient is Solai Lee. Solai has done incredible work supporting underserved communities through public service. As a former participant of the Stanford Hmong Outreach Program promoting education, SHOPPE, Solai understands the impact of outreach programs on high school students and has a strong desire to give back to his community. Once at Stanford, he became coordinator of SHOPPE and is currently the co-chair of the Hmong Student Union. As the AQC's Education Pipeline Coordinator, Solai has been able to use his experience as SHOPPE coordinator to support other programs that are geared towards promoting higher education to underrepresented API high school students. Solai is equally passionate about supporting immigrant workers. He has worked with the Fresno Interdenominational Refugee Ministries to ensure that the needs of immigrant community members were met. Furthermore, Solai co-led the ASB trip called the Hands That Feed Us, Migrant Farm Worker Health in California. As a residential assistant in Branner Hall, the service-themed dorm, Solai, in addition to his regular duties, facilitates workshops and coordinates trips for the dorm service scholar program. Solai's dedication to public service extends to improving mental health through his research with Stanford Well for Life and as a counselor with the Cardinal Free Clinic. For his commitment to mental health services, increasing access to higher education, and uplifting immigrant workers in the API community, we are proud to award Solai the Public Service Award.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank those who organized this event during these unprecedented times. I'd also like to thank those who nominated me for this award. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you to Firm, Alternative Breaks at Stanford, the Sacramento Refugee Help Clinic, the Hmong Student Union, the Haas Center, and the Asian American Activity Center for giving me the opportunities to serve the communities that I care about. To my mentors, thank you for your never-ending support. To my friends, thank you for being my home away from home, for never failing to inspire me, and for always helping me to thrive at this institution. To my family, thank you for the love, encouragement, and strong foundation that has helped me become the person I am today. To my parents, thank you for showing me what it means to never give up. Although I'm here before you today, I'd like to use this opportunity to recognize those working hard within nonprofit and community organizations to help those in the most need. I believe these are the unsung heroes in our community, and they should always be recognized for that. Throughout the past few years at Stanford, there have been many times where I felt like I was failing or lost. My goals of becoming a medical professional have often been distorted by different definitions of success and prestige. However, public service has been one of the many things that has kept me grounded and has allowed me to find myself. Through the service that I have done and the multiple community organizations I have worked with, I have found my why. It has deepened my passion to serve and advocate for those who cannot advocate for themselves. I have learned what is more important than success is the impact that you can make. As a Hmong American student, I have impacted the lives of those I have worked with, cared for, and befriended. Like many students who come from underrepresented backgrounds like myself, who has come to accept these awards, I am proof that underrepresented students can and will make a difference. I'd like to end this by reminding everyone that we can all make a positive impact on the world and the lives of others. Life is already hard enough on us, so let's start by being kind to one another. Thank you.
Thank you, Salai, for your service to marginalized communities. The next undergraduate award is the Gender and Sexuality Issues Award. Our first recipient is Jay Liu. Jay has played a crucial role in supporting queer students with intersecting identities and promoting mental health on campus. Working as the house manager at QSpot, Queer Student Resources Student Community Center, they have done a stellar job making the space more accessible and accountable to diverse campus communities, especially trans and non-binary students, queer students of color, and students with disabilities. Jay also serves as a Wayland Health Associate in Terra, Stanford's LGBTQ+ student residence, and created programming advancing student mental health and well-being. Additionally, they have served on Gender Inclusive Stanford's Student Advisory Board. Jay also contributed to the QT Umbrella Fund, a program that provides financial support for queer and trans students on campus by creating a Going Home/Navigating the Holidays guide for queer and trans students. Combining both the arts and their special care for intersectional identities, they have worked with another student to curate a zine centered around coming out journeys for queer POC. Jay consistently and courageously uses their voice and their opportunities at Stanford to lift up queer and trans identities. For this reason, we are proud to honor Jay with the Gender and Sexuality Issues Award.
Content warning, COVID-19. If you need to disengage to care for yourself, please do so. There are two important things to remember about the coming revolutions. The first is that we will get our asses kicked. The second is that we will win. Quote by Larry Mitchell. Dear friends, mentors, and family, chosen and given, as we gather today to celebrate the Asian American community, I recognize that we find ourselves in a difficult reality. I'm thinking about our university, reneging on its promise to support its contracted service staff. I'm thinking about the Asian American community, grieving in the wake of every new attack as the false sense of security granted by the model minority myth crumbles before our very eyes. I'm thinking about quarantine strikers and blank-faced politicians touting their reopening speeches, knowing full well they're gambling on the lives of the elderly and immunocompromised. And I think about our community members, who are now homeless, unemployed, quarantined in unsafe and unsupportive places, or braving the virus to work because now, finally, their jobs have rightfully been recognized as essential. Coronavirus didn't create racism, classism, or ableism, but it has harshly illuminated these realities for the rest of the world to see. Luckily, threat is not news to the queer community. We are forged in fire by trauma, pain, confusion, grief. In the face of violence and fear, we learn to lean on each other. We learn to bind each other's wounds, and we heal with humor, with grace, and with an abundance of love. We form families across lines of race, class, gender, and ability, and we promise to live and fight, to love, to empathize, to give, and to make a small corner of our world a little bit better, so that the parts of us we love in others, and will one day learn to love in ourselves, will never feel the need to hide again. The same determined, stubborn struggle will carry us past today. Today I'm accepting this award, but only as a vessel. To all the queer family and allies that have, in the course of my 4 years at Stanford, watched me fall, helped me fight, helped me when I cried, and helped me find Jay. And to every person who has ever stared blankly, maybe a little fearfully, into a future in which they were gay, or transgender, or Asian, and wondered if they would ever really, truly find a place to belong, this honor is for you. Together, we will continue to face off against oppression, for the collective liberation of all our communities.
Thank you, Jay, for your endless advocacy. Our next award of the night goes to another recipient of the Gender and Sexuality Issues Award. We are proud to present the award to Jackie Chu. Jackie is a trailblazer on campus when it comes to navigating the intersection of queer and Asian identities and ensuring the mental health needs of this community are met. Last year, Jackie created the first queer and Asian Thanksgiving back trip through alternative breaks at Stanford. This year, he has developed a trip to become an alternative spring break trip. Jackie has also worked with the Stanford Health Advocacy and Research and the Emergency Department Program and free clinics, and ensured that the broader health communities on campus practice competent care with respect to queer and Asian American communities. Beyond Stanford's campus, Jackie's worked with the Lion Martin Health Services and the Women's Community Clinic in San Francisco and forms his thesis examining racial disparities within the trans population with respect to hormone therapy. Jackie's nominators describe him as, quote, one of the only people that has brought so much to the queer Asian American community, both on and on campus. Through his work, he has been able to support and educate the broader community, end quote. For his ongoing commitment and work advocating for and supporting the queer Asian American community, we are proud to present Jackie with the Queer and Sexuality Issues Award.
Hi everyone, I'm Jackie and I hope that you're doing well wherever you may be. I would first like to thank the ACUPC Advisory Board for this award and the ACUPC staff for putting a lot of time planning this event. Despite these hectic times, I just wanted to start with a story 4 years ago when I was one of the Frosh interns at the ACUPC that helped plan this same event, and I remember sitting there feeling a really strong and powerful sense of community when I listened to the awardee speeches, watching the performances, and seeing all the amazing people in the room. And reflecting back on it now, I think it was this theme of being in community with others that really grounded me in understanding myself, those around me, and what I wanted to advocate for. And this really took in the form of being at the ACUPC and being supported by my mentors Cindy, Gerald, and Latana, or the other amazing co-staff, or sitting at co-spot, hanging out there and feeling validated for just being myself, or a sense of solidarity being with the Flag community and getting to know others at LSP. I think it was really these communities that grounded me, that taught me, that listened to me, that challenged me and sustained me as I tried to figure out who I was. And I want to profoundly thank all of these communities for what they have done and for what they have taught me and for giving me purpose. I also want to thank my friends and my partner for being there for me these years when I complained and rant. And I want to give a special shout out to Jillian for everything that we've been through together, all the struggles, laughter, and dumb things that we've done as friends and almost successful ASB and TGB leaders. Thank you all for all the experiences that you've taught me and all the experiences that we've shared together. And now, as I am running out of time and awkwardly talking to my phone, I want to acknowledge all of the people who have advocated tirelessly for the LGBTQ+ Asian American community for generations, and the people who will continue to carry this on in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie, for uplifting queer communities through your meaningful work. Our next undergraduate award is the Performing in Fine Arts Award. This year's first recipient is Caroline Jia, Caroline's pure love and passion for theater and strong creative vision propels her to be a prominent mentor for many young theater makers. Caroline has been deeply involved in the Asian American Theater Project, or AATP, since her first year at Stanford. Throughout Caroline's time with AATP, she has worked as the stage manager, lighting designer, assistant director, and executive producer. Through her creative work, Caroline highlights the underrepresented narratives within Asian diaspora, such as showcasing South Asian history in the show Guards at the Taj, or sharing queer love story between two Asian men in the show Edith Can Shoot Things and Hit Them. Caroline works to explore multidimensional, diverse API narratives and examine our own histories, privileges, and biases in the context of a particular script. As Caroline's nominator said, quote, "Whenever she's in a leadership position in AATP, she's so intentional about making everyone in the room is heard, that people not in the room are heard to the best of her ability, and that everyone feels safe and comfortable and healthy." End quote. For her mentorship, inclusivity, and drive, we are honored to present Caroline with the Performing and Fine Arts Award.
Hi, everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you to the Asian American Activities Center Advisory Board and to all the folks who nominated me for this award. Thank you especially to the Asian American Theater Project and everyone who's been involved with it as a board member, as someone who worked on a show, as someone who was in the audience of a show. You all are the reason that I started creating art in the first place. Thank you to Elena Yin and Vineet Gupta, my AATP parents, who were the people who introduced me to theater and honestly changed the course of my life. As a person who loves stage management and producing and who spent the past 4 years in the kinds of positions where if you do everything right, no one notices that you're even there because things run so smoothly, I spent a lot of time thinking about the invisible labor of folks who support artists' ability to create. We have the time and energy to make art because there are folks supporting us who give up their time and their energy to take care of the mundane chores of everyday life, and in doing so, often sacrifice their own opportunities to explore their own artistic talent. The labor, both physical and emotional, that goes into supporting all of us who are lucky enough to make art is immeasurable. And so I want to close by thanking the people that I'm most grateful for, the community that's made it possible for me to be an artist. Thank you to all the roommates I've had who have been gracious enough to not complain about how messy my side of the room gets during Tech Week. Thank you to all the friends who have made a point of learning things about lighting design so they can tell me after shows about a specific lighting choice I made that they liked, so they can say, "I see you. I see the work that you do and I appreciate you." Thank you to the custodial staff who keep the theaters on this campus clean and functional. Thank you to the dining hall staff for allowing me to stay in the theater hanging lights for hours at a time because I'm privileged enough to not have to stop and prep and cook meals for myself. I would not have been able to become an artist without this community, and I would not have been lucky enough to have gotten to spend 4 years making art without the work of so many people who deserve to be named and recognized far better than I can do right now. So to all of those people, I see you and I don't have words for how grateful I am. Thank you again.
Thank you, Caroline, for creating space for diverse API narratives and inclusivity. The next recipient of the Undergraduate Performing and Fine Arts Award is Isabel Mariah Ahoylan. Her passion and investment in dance are an expression of her activism and leadership within the Asian American community. As co-chair of Kayumangi, LTS Dance Project, and Common Origins, Isabel fosters discussions of intersectionality and activism through dance, paying great respect to the origins of the dance. She strives to educate about how performance may harm the communities that the dances originated from. She leads conversations about violence and appropriation in context of performative activism. Isabel was also a leader in restructuring Filipino Culture Night to be more intentional in its messaging and to involve local Filipinx artists such as Crystal Bugayon. Her insight in leadership and dance as activism is exceptional. Her nominators describe her as having, quote, infinite commitment to dance and the performing arts that are unparalleled, doing her best to educate herself and educate others, guiding them through thinking the importance of representation, end quote. Her incredible storytelling through dance has enriched Stanford's Asian American community. For this reason, we are proud to present Isabel with the Performing and Fine Arts Award.
Hi, my name is Isabel, and I wish I could be with all of you in person, but I am sending virtual hugs to any of y'all that need it today. I just want to say thank you so much for this award, and that all of my growth is definitely because all the communities that I've been so blessed to join these past 4 years. I want to give a shout out to Caillou. That was the organization that really set the foundation of my storytelling. Thank you to you guys for teaching me that it's important to interrogate why I dance and who I'm dancing for. That dance is just as much about creating as it is remembering, and that things regarded as artifacts of the past are often living, breathing, and evolving in the present time. Caillou has always been a home to me on this campus, and I can't thank y'all enough for always giving me a reason to smile, to laugh like a fool, and get out of bed every day, even on days when it was really, really hard for me to. Special shout out to Rochelle and Anthony for being my Caillou parents and helping me learn the ropes so well. I also want to thank the Listen to the Silence dance project and all of the dancers that have ever been a part of it. It's been a joy to see Christine fans start it, and it's been a joy to witness it hopefully continue on past my time at Stanford with Jessica Chen. It was my first time running around with so much creative freedom, and I can't thank Chris enough for giving me the opportunity to do so and trusting me with like her little baby. It was through LTS that I totally and completely fell in love with storytelling, and piece by piece realized just how important it is to be able to control your own narrative and have this space to share it, and also how important it is to uplift others to do the same as well. Thank you to everyone who's come to watch a show or listen to me rant about choreo over and over again until I finally got it right. I'm grateful to Ryan for always dancing alongside of me, to my parents for being the first ones to introduce me to just how beautiful art can be, and finally a huge thank you to my little brother Gideon. He's my favorite person in the world, and thank you, Gideon, for showing me just how much joy can be brought by never dancing on the beat. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Isabel, for your commitment to activism through dance. The next undergraduate award is the Community Building Award. This year's recipient is Kathy Gall. Kathy's commitment to community building shines in her work towards building bridges, creating inclusivity, and fostering intersectionality. As an Asian American Students Association, or ASA co-chair, she built relationships with all of ASA's subgroups, advocating for their funding, and is always a supportive, listening ear for anyone who needs it. Kathy also took on an integral role in making the Listen to the Silence conference happen. As Logistics Committee co-chair, she united all of the efforts with immense hard work and the time that she put into it. Her commitment to making Asian American spaces more inclusive is evident through her intersectional work. This includes her disability justice work through Stanford Neurodiversity Project, her career activism work with the Office of Religious Life, and her great contributions to InterVarsity, raising awareness about the intersectionality of being queer and Christian. Moreover, the patience and compassion Kathy puts into all of her work, as well as the kindness and love for all the people she works with, is Kathy's specialty. As one nominator put it, quote, "She thanks everyone for their work, even though it's her who should be thanked, and shows so much gratitude for the people in her communities." End quote. For her endless investment in making Asian American spaces more inclusive, we are proud to award Kathy the Community Building Award.
Hi, I want to talk about community, so I am just going to read a letter of gratitude to all of the people and spaces that I'm thankful for. And a quick content warning, I will talk about health issues and mortality, so if you need to turn off the sound or step away for the next 2 minutes, please feel free to do so. So I want to start with a story about my grandparents. When I was growing up, they gave me a purple stuffed animal fish, both because fish were lucky and because we had crossed an ocean together, and they wanted me to remember where I came from. I brought that fish everywhere. It got me through my first years of preschool when I didn't speak any English, through the violence of microaggressions and ignorance and erasure, through years in middle school when my health got worse, and I didn't think I would be alive for long enough to go back to my childhood home. My grandparents were my home, in a place where I didn't think that I could find one. A few days ago, I found the fish again in my room and cried thinking about the symbols that remind us of the people who become our home. You, this community, the Asian American folks I've lived and cooked and celebrated with, have also become my home. Thank you for showing me what radical care looks like. Thank you for reminding me so many times that liberation means pausing, eating noodles together, breathing, and resting. Thank you for the late night grocery runs, for painting together and playground hopping and shared meals and shared spaces that are our acts of resistance. Thank you for keeping me alive in so many ways these past few years. The people in this community taught me to find home in networks of care, even when we're spread out across different places. I think that knowledge is a gift from our ancestors, the ability to find home in each other, to keep each other alive and well and loved. Our bodies are political. Our survival is radical, and our lives are an embodied and daily refusal of white supremacy. Care is revolutionary and a crucial act, especially in this moment. So I'm grateful to all of the people and the spaces, including ASA and the ACUBC, Okada and LTS, and the ASB and TGB communities who showed me care and allowed me to be a part of their found home. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy, for your dedication to make our spaces more inclusive and accepting. The very last undergraduate award of the night is the Special Achievement Award. This year's recipient is Tenzin Yudok. Tenzin's compassionate and powerful activism has catalyzed so much good across the Asian American community. The dedication and hard work she pours into the 22% campaign has been integral to its purpose of calling on Stanford to disaggregate admissions data for the community. She plays an instrumental role in both communicating the campaign's demands and making sure each individual member and community is heard. Tenzin's activism is rooted in love, and this love resonates through each endeavor she takes on, especially in building community. Tenzin strives to help new members feel welcome and affirmed in so many organizations: Students of Color Coalition, Asian American Students Association, or ASA, Sigma Xi Zeta Sorority, or SYZ, among others. As ASA co-chair and SYZ new member educator, she has worked to increase the accessibility of these organizations and make sure they are a welcoming community for everyone. Tenzin has contributed to so many activist spaces over the years, from the Stanford Asian American activism community to Students for the Liberation of All People, doing important work in building community and making marginalized voices heard. Tenzin rebuilt the Tibetan Student Union to provide space for the 6 Tibetan students on campus. Tenzin's talent as an organizer and knack for making people feel comfortable in the spaces she creates has made her an invaluable leader in our community. Her nominators describe Tenzin as one of the strands holding the Asian American community together. And for that very reason, we are honored to present Tenzin with the Special Achievement Award.
Hi everyone, I hope that you're all doing well and staying safe and healthy during these times. I just first off want to thank everyone who has been involved and helped put this together. After working at the ACUBC the past few years, I know that a lot of time, energy, and effort goes into making awards happen, so thank you to everyone who's been involved in organizing this. Well, it's sad that as a community we can't physically gather today. I think one good thing about having awards virtually and online is that y'all don't have to see how many times I've been like this close to crying because I felt old while writing this, or how many times I've had to like re-record and resubmit this. So yeah. I've just recently been doing a lot of reflection and thinking about my time at Stanford, and I've just been really grateful for all the communities and people that have shown me support and mentorship these past few years, and have really shown me what true solidarity work and like community care looks like in real life. So thank you. Without them, I would never be where I am today, and I just wanted to specifically thank all my kids in the Tibetan Student Union, my lovely sisters in Sigma Xi Zeta, the Asian American Student Association members that have had to deal with my chaotic energy every meeting, every Sunday, my my fellow small org members in the 22% campaign, and the wonderful professional and student staff members at the AQC who have gone way far beyond what their job description entails in both supporting myself and other students on this campus. So thank you. And I wanted to give a very special thank you to Emily Kang. Emily has kept me supported and sane, honestly, throughout all of this, and has really shown me how friendship and love can power actual and meaningful change in our community. So thank you, Emily. Yeah, I just think that throughout my time at Stanford, I've learned and reflected a lot, and I've just really realized that self-care is deeply rooted in community care, and that although community care is very taxing at times, I think that ultimately it's brought a lot of warmth and meaning to my life, and I just want to thank anyone that's taken the time, energy, and effort to be in community with me and have these conversations and discussions with me. So thank you so much. Yeah, and lastly, I'm forever grateful to my parents and family who have shown me the importance of heritage, community, and activism well before I even stepped foot onto Stanford's campus, and just kept me supported and continue to cheer me on throughout my life. So thank you all again, and I really am so grateful and can't thank you all enough.
Thank you, Tenzin, for your meaningful words and activism on the behalf of the Asian American community. Congratulations on your incredible achievement. Finally, please join me in having another huge round of applause for all of our amazing undergraduate, graduate, faculty, staff, and alumni recipients. Congratulations to all.
Each year, the Asian American Activity Center Advisory Board has the privilege of recognizing some of the most outstanding leaders in the Stanford community. It is their passion, dedication, and commitment that have shaped the API community at Stanford to be as vibrant, caring, and active as it is.
While the accomplishments of our recipients are great, they certainly could not have done it alone. All of you in attendance today have demonstrated yet again your involvement in and support for the issues and concerns of our community. Together, all of us add to the rich and diverse university that is Stanford.
Congratulations again to everyone who helped make tonight's event possible, and whose talent and dedication serve as an inspiration to all of us. We know that each of you will continue to do wonderful things here at Stanford and beyond. Thank you, everyone, for your continued support. We hope y'all are staying safe during this pandemic, and we hope to see you all at next year's Stanford Asian American Awards. Good night.